Hello everyone, welcome for another Y Thrive home workout. I'm going to be your instructor. My name is Ryan, and Scott is going to be my participant today. We're going to do a full body beginner workout. We're only going to need a mat, and if you have some sort of weight, it can be light or heavy. I'll show you modifications for both. But if you don't have a weight, we'll show you modifications for just body weight as well. So we're going to start with the warm-up. So Scott is going to do 15 to 20 glute bridges. So he's going to start laying on the mat here. Laying flat on his back, head's relaxed, feet are nice and close to his butt. And he's going to raise his hips off the ground. Yeah, and then he's going to lower back down. So while he's doing this, he's squeezing his glute muscles as he lifts his hips off the ground. And he's also squeezing his abdominal muscles. So that way he's not arching through his back while he's doing this exercise. So think about squeezing your glutes before you lift up and also squeezing those abs while you're doing this. So we're just trying to get your hips warmed up, your core kind of fired up. Important for our core to be engaged through our whole workout. So this is kind of just prepping you for some of the things we're going to do later on. Looking good, Scott. Nice, good. After that, we're going to do some shoulder taps. So we just kind of flip around. You can do this from your knees if you'd like, or you can do this from your hands. Scott's going to be doing this from the knees here. So he's in that nice push-up position, hands are underneath the shoulders, and he's just nice and slowly bringing that one hand over across to the opposite shoulder. Again, you're going to feel that core engage as you take your hand and alternate sides. If this is really challenging, we can also do this on a wall. But if you are able to do this from the knees here, this is going to be recommended. You can also do this from your feet as well. Big thing is that there's not a whole lot of movement happening at the hips here. So we're doing 10 to 15 of these. It's looking really good. Okay, and then we're going to go into some floor slides. So we're going to be laying on our back again. We're going to bring our hands kind of up like this. And we're just going to try and keep our hands along the floor as we reach our arms up. And we're trying to keep our elbows on the floor as we come back down. Very nice. So while we're on the floor, think about pressing your lower back into the floor. This is going to help keep your core engaged. So we're not arching our back as we're bringing our arms overhead. So we're going to do 5 to 10 of these. Nice shot, Scott. If you want to make this a little harder, you could do this against a wall. Okay, so we're going to go through this whole sequence twice. So we're starting again with those glute bridges. Very nice. And by all means, go slow when you do these exercises. It's good to do these things correct. If you'd like to pause the video now to practice these exercises, we're just going to kind of keep on going. But if you feel free to pause the video and try some of these exercises on your own. Right, if you really want to challenge yourself, right, you could do single leg. But again, we're just warming up, right? We want to make sure our glutes and our abs are really firing up. So focus on just activating those muscles. Don't worry about really firing these out too fast. Nice. Awesome. Okay, transitioning into our shoulder taps. Nice. You can see Scott's got a good shoulder position, right? His shoulders aren't shrugged up into his ears, right? Shoulders are nice and down, reaching into the ground with those shoulders. All right, you're going to feel your body shift from one side to the other while you do this. And a little shift is okay. If you're noticing a lot of twisting, maybe you don't reach up and actually touch the shoulder. You just raise off the floor and come back down and alternate sides. All right, and then we're going into our floor slides. All right, so again, if I was to do this on the wall, I could just lean up against the wall, have my hands like this, reach up and down. If you want to make them really hard, sit on the floor with your back against the wall. Again, big thing is that you're keeping your back flat against the wall or flat against the floor, right? If that back is arching, right, the core is not going to be engaged, or we're just not going to be in the strong and ideal position. Cool. All right, so this is a quick warm-up here. So we're going to get into a couple of our exercises for our actual workout. So we have 3 exercises. First one is a hip hinge. Then we have a tall kneeling front rack hold. We'll show you kind of what these ones look like. And then we have a Superman hold. So the hip hinge one is going to be just a forward fold at the hips, but we're trying to round through our back. So Scott's going to do a couple of hip hinges here. Right, so you can see his feet are kind of roughly shoulder hip width apart. Right, you can see his hips are kind of just reaching back. and he's not rounding through the shoulders. So we're going to do 10 to 12 of these, and we're focusing on the hamstrings and the glutes here. Right, so if you are feeling this in your lower back, right, maybe we modify this so we're not going as far for the forward fold or for that hinge, but really think about your glutes. Right, think about squeezing your glutes as you bend forward and keep those core muscles engaged. Awesome. Looking really nice. Good. And we're going to go into a tall kneeling front rack hold. So a bit of a mouthful, but we're on both knees. So we're having a cushion here for the knees. Right? This could be a pillow or a blanket. And we're nice and tall through this kneeling position. Right? So we're squeezing our butt. We have our weight in our hands here. And we're just reaching our hands up a little bit. The higher we go, the harder this is going to be. We're going to not hold our breath, we're going to count our breaths for 6 to 8 breaths. So again, the higher the dumbbell is, the harder it's going to make this, but focus on that core position again. Right? With squeezing your butt, squeezing your abs, or again, we're not arching the back here. It almost looks like a plank. Right? That's the position you kind of should see from the side there. So you have big inhale, nice strong exhale. Again, taking your time with the breathing so you're not rushing through. Nice, good. Now we're going to go into a Superman. So we're back onto our stomach. All right, so we can raise our feet and our hands, or we can kind of alternate sides here. Right, so you can see Scott's going one side at a time. Right, so I would say this is a little bit that easier version. If we bring both up at the same time, that's going to be a little harder. If you are feeling this in your back, right, we may adjust this so we're not going as high with the hands or the feet. Or we could go into that glute bridge again. So we're trying to focus on the posterior muscles, so the glutes, the hamstrings. So again, if you're feeling this a lot in your back, let's modify that so it feels a little bit better. So this one is 6 to 8 reps, so it's probably close to that. And that's our third exercise. So we're going to go through this whole thing 3 times. So again, if you want to pause the video now to practice these exercises, we're going to go through this whole thing 2 more times. So if you want to pause now and practice before we get going, you can do that now. But throughout this whole workout, make sure you take breaks, right? Feel free to pause. If you can't do the whole number of reps, right, that's okay to break it up a little bit. So we're going to go back to the hip hinge. Scott's now has a little bit of a weight, so it makes this a little bit more challenging. Again, think about those glute muscles. It's a muscle that we tend not to use as much when we're sitting. So thinking about squeezing those glutes before bending forward. It looks a little bit more challenging than it actually is. Awesome. All right. So as you're bending forward, head and neck is nice and long. Right? Sometimes we can tend to tuck the chin and look at our feet. Right? We want to keep everything in nice alignment. Looking good, Scott. Nice job. Right on. Okay. Going back to our tall kneeling front rack hold. Okay. So with your arms, right, if you are holding a kettlebell or a dumbbell, I like to have the elbows just a little bit tucked in so your elbows are like this, right? That's going to bring your shoulders out of position. Right, so elbows tucked in. Relax the shoulders so we're not at the ears. Again, if you are raising up, again, think about relaxing the shoulders so we're not shrugging with the shoulders there. Okay, we're getting that nice breath work in. Good, Scott. Right, so it should be really tall through here, right? Knees, hips, shoulders, ears, everything nice and stacked, right? This really works on good posture here. Good. Doing nice, big, slow breathing. And feel free to take breaks between the exercises if you need to, okay? We're going into our Superman hold. Very nice. Thinking about those glute muscles again, right? There's kind of a lot of glutes happening in this workout, right? Really important that we get those muscles strong. Very nice. Good. Again, go as high as you feel comfortable, right? If you are feeling in the back, right, modify that. Good job, Scott. Yeah. And we have one more set. One more set. We're going to finish the finale here, nice and strong. Good. Again, we're taking our time going through these exercises. It's not about who can do the most here. We're all just trying to have a good workout. So focus on the quality of these exercises. So that's where I'm okay with adjusting the reps for these exercises. It's okay if you can't do 10 correctly, right? Take your time. Make sure you're doing it as best as you can. 1,001, 1,002. Okay, sweet. Nice. Got over 1,000. Let's go back into our tall kneeling. Again, so if you don't have a weight, right, that's where we can go into that plank position, right? So we can go on our forearms, we can go onto our hands. Yeah, so Scott's going to demonstrate what that looks like there, right? Nice and flat, right? So if we want to make that easier, we can go onto our knees. We can even go up to a wall, right? Just want to make sure our body is flat, right? So we're not seeing any big dips, right? Dips like this or big rounds in the back, right? And breathing again, just making sure we're focusing on big breaths, right? So it's 6 to 8. So you are doing the plank. 6 to 8 still, if you're doing tall kneeling, 6 to 8. All right, finishing with that Superman. Looking nice. Good. And before you actually move, engage those glute muscles, right? Squeeze those muscles first before you go into the exercise. Nicely done. Nice. Okay, great. So that was our third set. So the last thing we probably do just to finish up is just a light little stretch here. So we did a lot of glute work, so we're going to get Scott just to sit on the mat. He's going to have both legs out in front of him. He's going to cross one foot over top of the other. He's going to grab onto the knee. He's going to pull in and hug himself in there. Yeah, just like that. We're just going to stretch out those glutes after we did a lot of glute work today. All right, while we're stretching, we're just breathing, thinking about how that workout felt, right? Maybe there were some things we had to adjust, kind of remembering all those things you had to adjust, right? Was that challenging? Was that too much? Right? Just kind of reflecting on your workout. This is a good time to kind of think about those things. But also just congratulating yourself on the workout, right? So we're just going to hold these stretches for about 30 seconds. Yeah, that's probably good. But yeah, thank you for the workout, and we'll hope to see you guys again soon.